all your life problems come from understanding or ignorance. You don't understand stuff, therefore you cannot act and think and have the correct emotions, and you just keep having the same problems. And that all stems from not knowing the technology of your soul, which is the Kabbalah. So as a Kabbalah adept, I'll try to explain a little bit of how you can use it to start to get your life better. So you can imagine life as a video game. And just like in a video game, it runs frame by frame. So there's no such thing as a video. What you're seeing right now is a collection of images that just run in a sequence with a specific time and velocity so that it seems like something's moving. And this is the same in real life. Now, the problem is you don't know the controller of the video game. You don't know the buttons to press. So you keep putting yourself into similar situations and situations that don't bring you evolution. So you keep just having the same problems over and over again. And they may come because you cannot control your thoughts or your emotions or the entirety of your soul, which is your imagination. So your soul is your capacity to imagine things. When you imagine something, you start to think about it, you start to have specific emotions about it, and then you start to act. So the first step is understanding this and starting to correct these 4 topics. So these are the 4 elements, your lower quaternary. We have the imagination, which is fire. We have your thoughts, which is air. Your emotions, which is water. And your actions, which is earth. Simply start by looking at those. There's a lot more advanced stuff you can do, and so on, but start with that. Simple. How do you imagine things to happen? Are you an optimistic person? Are you a pessimist? When you try to see yourself going to work every day, for example, or when you imagine yourself going to a date, how is it that you imagine things? And if you cannot imagine them, or if you're not consciously thinking about them, you're probably just acting on the subconscious level, which most of the times is being hijacked by your family, society, ads, everything. So you simply don't have any control over that. You don't have the correct imagination, then you don't have the correct thoughts. How do you think when somebody bumps into you into transit, when you're in traffic? Or when somebody says something negative about you? Or when something slightly seems like it's not going in your favor? How do you think? Again, are you a pessimist, optimist, neutral? How do you think? This will lead you to having specific emotions. How do you feel about things is totally different than how you think about things sometimes. So you may think that you have something resolved with that person, but then emotionally you still feel something. That's why people cannot forget their exes, because they may have thought the problem out, but they still feel something. You gotta correct that as well. Otherwise, you keep pressing the same buttons over and over and over. You keep seeing the same video game quest, the same movie, and you ask yourself, what the fuck? Why is this not changing? Well, you're choosing to watch the same thing. So, after all of this, you're going to have your actions. Again, if you don't think consciously about them, you're just going to act out of habit. Probably 90% of your life right now, or more, is totally automatic. You're literally a robot. You wake up, you do the same things throughout the day, you go to sleep over and over and over and over. How do you expect anything to change if you just keep doing the same things? It's insanity to think that something would change if you keep doing the same things. And I'm not only talking about how maybe one day you're productive and the other day you're not so productive. I'm literally talking about everything you do. From the moment you're putting your shoes on and you keep putting them the same way every time, you're brushing your teeth and you're doing it the same time, same motions every day. You're playing the same movie every day. So you have to start thinking, how do you change that? How you become conscious of things? How do you have science of things? so that you can start to change them. And that's when Kabbalah, again, the technology of the soul, enters. So the Jewish will say that we have 5 levels. The soul has 5 levels. So it starts at an animal form. So basically, no control, purely instinctual. You see something, you have a little bit of fear or a little bit of anger, and you react. It's totally instinctual. To the point where you start to control it a little bit more, and then, okay, you're now half a beast. So you're half animal right now and half human. So you have a little bit more of control. Okay, that works slightly better, but still, long way to go. You evolve a little bit more, and now you are a human. Okay, this means that you can control it, but sometimes your soul still falls back into the animal state, and you lose touch. Now, if you keep evolving, you would become a half human, half angel, or an angel, meaning you can consciously control 100% of your thoughts, emotions, actions, and imagination. Until you cannot do that, you will simply be a product of your environment, of the people that you talk to, of all the programming that is spun up into you. And remember that if you're not thinking about something consciously, somebody is doing the thinking for you. So you gotta be really aware of what you put inside yourself in terms of thoughts, when you're watching ads, when you're watching a movie, when you're listening to someone talking to you, when you're ingesting stuff, literally, physically, right? This is earth. So whatever you're eating is completely messing you around. Not always in a bad sense, but again, you have to be aware of what you're doing. Just stop and think. Meditation is extremely useful for that, because what you're trying to do with meditation most of the times is just zooming out of the situation so you can see it more clearly. You don't have to be a yogi and go to the mountains and sit there for like 5 hours or days meditating. You can do this when you are walking somewhere, when you are at the gym, when you are doing anything, when you are in the shower. Sure, also do the type of meditations where you sit somewhere and be silent, but it's not the idea to just shut up and try to not have everything. There's different types of meditations. So again, be really aware of what you're putting inside you. Start to have more control about the things that you do, and well, how can you do this? Just start. Start by changing how you put your shoes on, how you act upon certain things. When you see that there's a pattern somewhere, try and change it. If you always, when you encounter a problem, you try to fix it with the same way, bro, what you're doing, change it. Do it differently. Most of the times, you actually know the answer. You actually know what you're doing that is not the most optimal, but you just keep doing them out of habit. Again, you just keep going back to your cell phone and doom scrolling all day, just out of habit. It's literally, you're an automaton. You're a robot. But you can stop becoming a robot. You can start to become human again, and eventually an angel, if you just take into consideration everything that I talked about in this video. Again, I'm a Kabbalah adept. That's why I can talk about these things. Been studying this for years, been practicing it. It has totally changed my life and the life of the people that are close to me that I can talk to this about. And if you want to know more, just follow me and let me know if you have any content suggestions or questions. Peace.